to a restorative yoga class. So today's restorative class will concentrate on the back. So if you do have any injuries, please just make sure that you consult with your doctor or specialist if you have had quite a bit of pain. If not, and you just have some mild back pain, this can be really, really good, even if you just want to stretch out the back. But again, be careful. If you do have any injuries, maybe let me know before you do the class. I would advise that you use a block if you have a strap and something to rest on. So I've taken a cushion from the settee, so you really don't have to spend a lot of money on props. And if you've got any questions, like I said, just let me know. We'll begin by lying down on the back. Just allow the feet to fall out to the side. Relaxing the shoulders, taking the hand on the stomach and one hand onto the chest. Closing the eyes. Breathing in and out through the nose. Feeling the weight of the body against the earth, against the mat. And noticing the belly rise and fall with each inhale and exhale. Begin to focus on how you're feeling, how the breath is moving in and out of the body. Is the mind crazy with chatter, with thoughts? Are the shoulders relaxed or tensed? Is the stomach holding any anxieties? Or are you feeling quite relaxed? There's no wrong answer, it's just checking in with how you're feeling. And begin to make the breath longer and deeper on the inhale. And then really slow it down on the exhale, getting rid of all the stale air from the body, all that unwanted air. And focusing on any tensions and anxieties you may have, and with each exhale taking that control and releasing them thoughts, them tensions, them feelings from the body. In a second, we're going to do some two-part breathing, so some counted breathing to make you really focus on the breath. We're going to inhale for a count of 5 and exhale for a count of 5. Inhaling through the lower belly into the middle belly and the chest. I want you to imagine filling up a jug of water, and then we're going to exhale from the chest down through the ribs into the lower belly. So emptying that jug of water on the exhale. Taking one deep breath in through the nose, filling up the lungs, the back, the chest, the belly. And on the exhale, opening the mouth, sighing out. Relaxing the shoulders. Belly button pulls in towards the spine. Then we're going to breathe into the lower belly. 1, 2. Middle belly. 3, 4. Chest. 5. Exhale, chest. 1, 2. Middle belly. 3, 4. Lower belly. 5. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One more time. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now allow the breath to return back to being natural, not forcing anything, any movement. Allowing the body to relax, keeping the eyes closed. And checking in again with how you're feeling. Even in this short space of time, have you managed to calm the mind, calm the breath, the shoulders, the anxieties, the body? the face. Maybe that's something to focus on in today's practice. Begin to pull the knees in towards the chest, grabbing hold of the legs, giving yourself a big squeeze. And then just sway left to right, awakening the spine. And then just lowering the shoulders down, keep the knees pulled in towards the chest. And we're going to rotate the spine in one direction, so maybe moving in a clockwise motion. Massaging out the lower back, the middle, and then changing direction, keeping the shoulders relaxed. And then slowly begin to rock forward and back until you find yourself in a seated position, crossing the legs, lifting the crown of the head up towards the ceiling, and then rotating the shoulders back and down, placing the hands on top of the knees. Taking 3 deep breaths here. Deep inhale, 1. Open the mouth, sigh it out. Relaxing the shoulders. 2 more of these. Deep inhale. Open the mouth, sigh it out. 1 more breath. Deep inhale. Open the mouth, sigh it out. Opening the eyes. Come into a tabletop position now. So we want to take the hands underneath the shoulders, the knees underneath the hips. Keeping a micro bend in the fingers, so you've got a small gap in between the hands. And then we're going to inhale, push the shoulders back, push the chest forward, lift the tailbone up towards the ceiling, coming into cow pose. So you're really arching the spine in one direction. And then as we exhale, we're pressing into the hands, coming into cat pose now. So tucking the tailbone under, tucking the chin towards the chest, and arching that spine in the opposite direction, really wakening up the back. We're going to do this 5 more times. Inhale, reach. Open up that chest. Exhale, cat pose. Tucking that tailbone in, chin towards the chest, pressing into the hands. 4 more. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale. Inhale, reach. Exhale, really plugging that belly button in towards the spine. 2 more times. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale. 1 more. Deep inhale, reaching up. Exhale. And then inhale, coming back into that neutral position. Just going to push these forward slightly. We're going to come into what's called an extended puppy pose now, just to open up the chest and move into that curve in the spine. So taking a block if you need to, if you don't have the flexibility in the front of the body and the shoulders. So lowering the head down onto the block, or if you do have the flexibility, lowering the forehead down onto the mat, but you do want the forehead relaxed. You don't want to be holding up the head at all. So begin to slide or walk the hands forward, keeping the hips above the knees. Allow the head to relax on either a block or the floor. And then with each exhale, I want you to press the armpits down towards the mat so the head's relaxed. With each exhale, pressing down a little bit further, see if you can walk the hands a little bit further forward. Staying here for 4 more breaths. Two more breaths. One last deep inhale. And a long, soothing exhale. Inhale, gaze towards the front of the mat. Begin to walk the hands back. We're going to untuck the toes at the back and come into a downward facing dog. So you want the shoulders externally rotated, triceps pulling in towards each other, tailbone reaching up towards the ceiling. So you've got a nice straight spine. Pull the heart up and gaze towards the feet. Begin to paddle out the feet, pressing into the hands. And then gaze towards the front of the mat and keeping a bend in the knees, begin to walk towards the front, taking the feet as wide as the mat, keeping the knees bent. We're going to relax the head and shoulders down, coming into a fold, grabbing hold of opposite elbows and coming into our ragdoll. So keeping them knees bent, begin to sway left to right. Really relaxing the head, relaxing the face. Awakening that lower back. You may feel this on the back of the hamstrings as well, that's completely normal. Staying here for 2 more breaths. We're going to bend the knees and watch the hands rise above the head. So pressing into the heels of the feet, taking the hands above the head, and then exhale, taking the hands to the heart center, Samastitihi. Bringing the feet hip distance apart. Now we're going to come into another forward fold. So again, option to take hold of the elbows, but we're going to begin to bend forward, lowering down, relaxing the head and shoulders. Option to take the hands underneath the feet if you have that flexibility in the legs. If not, keep a slight bend in the knees and just bring opposite hands to opposite elbows. And we're going to stay here for about 10 breaths. So really relaxing into the shoulders, into the head, the neck. Pulling the belly in towards the spine, really moving the belly towards the thighs. Long, deep breaths here. Staying here for 2 more breaths. 1 more deep inhale. And a long, soothing exhale. Inhale, remove the hands if the hands are there. Gaze towards the front, halfway lift. And as we exhale, taking the hands down to the mat, stepping the feet back into that plank pose, dropping to the knees, lowering the body down onto the mat. And we're going to come into Sphinx pose now. So taking the hands out in front, making sure that the hands are shoulder distance apart, taking the elbows underneath the shoulder, and then begin to press the backs of the feet into the mat so the legs are nice and relaxed. Pulling the shoulder blades in towards each other. So you don't want to scrunch into the neck in this move. You really want to pull the shoulder blades together, almost as though there's a pencil in between the shoulder blades and you're trying to keep it there. And as you begin to pull the shoulder blades together, you'll feel a tug on the lower back, a nice stretch on the lower back. We're going to stay here for about 10 breaths. So if you do feel like it's uncomfortable at any point, feel free to lower the head down and then raise back up into it. Squeezing them shoulder blades. Connecting with the breath. Whenever the mind begins to wander, coming back to the breathing. Checking in with the shoulders, make sure you're not scrunching into the neck. Two more breaths here. And then taking the elbows wide, just begin to lower the head down onto the mat. Closing the eyes and just shaking out the hips if you feel like you need to do that after that pose. And breathing here. Slowly taking the hands underneath the shoulders, gaze towards the front. You're going to push yourself up into that tabletop position again. And this time we're going to come into a child's pose. So I want you to take the knees wide, bring the feet together at the back, sit the hips towards the heels. So this is where this comes in handy, because if you do feel like this is too much, if you don't have the flexibility in the hips, you can only get to a certain point and it feels uncomfortable, you can take the pillow down and just lower the torso down onto the pillow. So you'll still feel that stretch in the hips, but it just means that you can really relax into this pose rather than feeling uncomfortable. If you do have the flexibility in the hips, begin to take the hips towards the heels, walk the hands forward, lower the forehead down onto the mat. If you do need to take a block, just allow that forehead to relax and really reach the arms forward so you can feel that stretch in the side of the body. Breathing here, really connecting with that breath, allowing the face to relax, the hands, the shoulders, the stomach, the legs. Staying here for 2 more breaths. Gaze towards the front of the mat. I want you to stay in this child's pose, but this time we're going to walk the hands over to the right hand side, lowering down. If you do have a bolster and you're here, just begin to take the left arm over the top and the right arm down and just relax the head down. So this is fine. We want to feel a stretch underneath the armpit there. So walking the hands over to the right, making sure that left arm's over the top of the pillow, and then just relaxing down. Feeling that stretch on the left hand side of the body now. And then slowly gaze towards the right. Begin to walk the hands back into the middle. We're going to do the same but on the left hand side. So taking the hands towards the left, relaxing down. If you do have that pillow, just make sure that the right arm is over the top of the pillow, so you're resting the right hand side down on top and you can feel that stretch. One more breath here. Gaze towards the front. Begin to walk the hands back towards the centre and slowly walk the hands back until you're in the seated position, and then we're going to roll over onto our back. So we are going to come into supported bridge pose now. So I do recommend using a block. If you've got books or pillows, just something to prop the back up against whilst we do this. You can find these blocks really cheap on eBay. So begin to take the feet forward. We're going to bend the knees, bringing the feet in towards the glutes, lowering down onto the back, and then we're going to press into the heels of the feet and come into what we call the bridge pose. So you're pressing into the heels, lifting the hips up, and usually we would stay there, except this time you're going to take that block and lower the back down onto the lower back basically. Coming into this supported bridge, allow the body to relax. If you want to take the block in towards the centre a little bit more, that's completely optional. It's wherever feels best for you. You can take 2 blocks. Closing the eyes, relaxing the shoulders. Tuning into that breath. Whenever the mind begins to wander, just coming back to the breathing, come back to the feeling of the weight against the block, the feet touching the mat, the head, the shoulders. Is the face relaxed? The hands, the lips, the jaw. Staying here for about 3 more breaths. Really filling up the lungs, the chest, the stomach, the back. Getting rid of the stale air on the exhale. 1 more breath. And then lifting the hips up. I just want you to make sure that the block is the lowest it can be. And we're going to slide the block underneath the lower back and the top of the glutes. So it needs to be half on top of the glutes, half on the lower back, sitting on that nervous system. We're going to bring the feet together and allow the knees to fall out towards the side. So you've got complete support. This shouldn't feel uncomfortable. Again, if you're using a pillow or a book, that's completely fine. Relaxing the shoulders. Making sure there's no tension in the thighs. The knees are completely fallen towards the side, so really letting gravity take over. Taking the hands onto the stomach if you want to, feeling the stomach rise and fall with each breath. Staying here for 3 more breaths. Slowly bringing the knees back to center. We're going to lift the feet up towards the ceiling now. So if you want to just move the block slightly up the back, option to use a strap here as well. So if you don't have the stability to keep the feet up, you can use a wall or you can use a strap. So taking the feet up, if you want to use a strap, just looping the feet round, keeping that block there just for that support, to add that pressure onto the lower back, relaxing the shoulders, and just allowing that circulation, that blood flow to move in the opposite direction. So really taking some pressure off the feet. Allowing some of that blood to move in towards the stomach. So again, really good for digestion. If you're suffering from any digestive issues, just taking the feet up for even just a few minutes a day can really work wonders. Closing the eyes if you want to. Staying here for 3 more breaths. Allowing the shoulders to relax on the exhale. 1 more breath. And then slowly bending the knees, lowering the feet back down, removing the strap. And we're going to just remove the block for a moment and rock yourself back up into that seated position. So we're going to come into what we call supported fish pose now. So this is really good for the middle and the top of the spine. So taking the block down, if you do want to use a pillow instead, if it feels really uncomfortable using a block, then find the way that's best for you. But we're going to take that block down, lowering down onto the back, making sure that the block is in the centre and towards the top of the back. Option to cross the legs or take the legs wide, and then just allowing the head to move back. So this is a really good one for opening up the throat, relaxing the shoulders. Breathing here, noticing if there are any tensions. 3. One more breath. And then slowly putting pressure into the elbows, taking the hands down, begin to press yourself back up. So slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae, and then just pressing yourself into this seated position. We're going to remove the block, taking the block to the side, lowering down onto the back, and we're going to come into what's called a supine twist. So we're going to move the knees over to the left. Now, if this feels uncomfortable, you can take a block in between the legs or a pillow, completely up to you. If you don't feel like that's enough, you can take the right leg over the left leg and twist the legs over to the left. We're going to take the right hand over to the right, gaze towards the right hand side, and just allow this left hand to be placed onto the stomach so you can really connect with that breath still in this pose, and then allowing the body to completely relax, twisting that spine. This is a really good one for the lower back. Allow yourself to melt into this pose, relaxing the shoulders, let gravity do the work. Coming back to the breath, if you feel the mind begin to wander, and using that control of the exhale to get rid of any tensions or anxieties within the body. Allow the hip to relax, the knees to fall towards the left. Staying here for 3 more breaths. Really slowing down the breath, 1 more. And then gently bringing the knees back to centre. If you did take a block on the left side, please move the knees over to the right and then place that block in between the knees or the pillow. If you took a deeper stretch on that left side, make sure to take the left knee over the right knee this time, twisting over to the right, taking that hand over to the left, and then just placing that right hand on the stomach and just allowing the body to relax. Breathing into it, long, soothing exhales. Whenever the mind begins to wander, coming back to the breath, coming back to the feeling in the body. That sense of gratitude for everything the body is capable of. See if you can relax a little bit deeper. 3 more breaths. And then slowly moving the knees back to centre. Bringing the knees in towards the chest, giving yourself another big hug. And then slowly rocking forward and back, coming into a seated position. We're going to come over to the side, taking the feet out to either side now. And then we're going to bring the left hand in towards that left thigh. So if you don't quite have the flexibility in the thighs and the groin, then that's fine. You can take the hand down as long as you can kind of press with that left elbow onto the thigh to move this right shoulder back. so that you've got perfect alignment in the shoulders. Begin to flex the feet and then reach over towards that left foot. Feeling that stretch in the back. Gaze towards the ceiling. Keeping the shoulders relaxed. Breathing into it, 2 more breaths. And inhale, coming back to center. We're going to swap sides. So taking that right hand down this time, try and press into the right thigh with that elbow. Pulling that left shoulder back, reaching that left hand over towards the right foot, flexing the feet. Gaze towards the ceiling, feeling that stretch in the left hand side of the back. And breathing into it. Three more breaths here. One more deep inhale. Exhale. Inhale, coming back to center. We're going to come into our Shavasana now. So I want you to grab a jumper, grab a blanket, turn off the lights, put some nice music on. I will be staying in this Shavasana for about a minute, but I do recommend pausing the video and staying here for at least 5 minutes before the end of the practice. So lowering the feet down onto the mat, allowing the feet to fall to either side, taking the hands next to the body, palms face towards the ceilings, just relaxing the shoulders, closing the eyes. Letting the mind wander, letting the body settle into what it's just done. Taking this next few moments just for you. Slowly bringing some awareness back into the body, so maybe wiggling the toes, wiggling the fingers, rotating the ankles, rotating the wrists. Taking the hands above the head, coming into a deep body stretch. We're going to take 3 deep inhales through the nose and then sigh it out through the mouth. Deep inhale through the nose. Open the mouth, sigh it out. Deep inhale through the nose. Open the mouth, sigh it out. Deep inhale through the nose. Open the mouth, sigh it out. Rolling over onto the right hand side, coming into that fetal position. Just allowing the body to reawaken. And then gently pushing yourself up into a seated position, crossing the legs. Keeping the eyes closed, taking the hands to the heart center and then bowing the head towards the heart. Taking a moment to feel gratitude towards yourself for dedicating some time on nourishing the body, not only the physical body but also your mental well-being. Connecting with that breath and stopping the thoughts from entering the mind, even if it's only for a few seconds, can really cause huge benefits towards the body, towards the stress levels, towards you. In the long run, it definitely has a very positive effect on both the mind and the body. I hope you enjoyed the class. If you've got any questions, please let me know. Taking the hands to the middle of the eyebrows, bowing down, namaste.